So we're at a new cycle of something I'm going to talk about. And so I'm going to highlight the cycle, but I'm also going to be mindful that I highlight it with grace and with joy and to celebrate it, because I want to uplift and fill in the gaps where it could go deep and be a repeat cycle of descending and seeing. I want to see the blessings and everything always, especially when it comes to cycles, because ultimately I don't want to be in cycles. I want to be in the now. And if I catch wind of a cycle, meaning like it was the same time of the year, that same hurricane in 1958 was the same name, Helene, same category, same trajectory, same way it moved through everything. So it was a natural groove, a natural imprint, which everything is, that has weight, that has charge. So we discharge. When we discharge, when we let off particles of light, we spin them off, and we become freed up from that cycle or that imprint. We also recharge, meaning the light that is yours, your soul essence, comes home. So that which is truly you comes in, negentropic, it comes back, and that which isn't you spins off you. And this is why, like when we were talking about the Therapy a minute ago, like if you lay on the light table, because it's spinning in phi ratio, negentropically, meaning it's coming home, it's bringing light towards you. Literally, it's feeding you. 500,000 volts is coming through the Tesla coil. So the 500,000 volts is coming to you to give you available light. And so if you go on that table angry, you are going to, number one, you're going to manifest that which you're focused on, because it's bringing you home, So what you visualize and what you're going through, you want to like be in joy and see grace and fill out an imprint of divine blueprint of what you want. However, like I told you, if it's okay if it happens, like you like all of a sudden start going through an emotional release, somatic emotional release, because it does start spinning things open and clearing you. And that emotion's all purposeful. You want to discharge that emotion, and I can't get to the sadness sometimes until I meet the anger. Which is also why when we remember our shaman days, we sat as a shaman or a, aborigine or some sort of native being that remembered its roots to the earth, and we sat on the earth and we moved with the earth. So we were caravanning, and we like didn't just like get fixed and like, oh, I'm gonna sit here forever. No, we moved with it. And if we did stay in an area, like some tribes like to stay in that certain area of the land, and a tornado came or a hurricane came, we knew it was us. We knew that the space is our ether, and that the light particles drop from fifth state ether to fourth state light particle, fifth state wave, fourth state it spins into a particle. So when you understand it, that shaman's watching it spin from wave to particle, turning into a tornado, and that ether, it recognized that it's itself. It's like, oh, look at me and the community are here. And so the shaman would sit and eat the kahucha, would sit and go up the center of the tornado or the hurricane and eat the pain of the collective, eat the anger, understand it, go, oh, I see what we're dealing with, and transfigure it and transmute it and be in love with it. Make love, truly, they say, make love to it, just like you would do to your beloved. And you're then to calm it down. And that's why it was so beautiful, I think it was Milton, that, like everyone's in their own reality projection show. There's 9 billion realities projecting in a moment. But in my reality, like Spirit's like, are you going to sit there? Like, you better go and eat the kucha. And I'm like, okay. And I start making love and like calming it down and finding any records of like my hand in it. And then all of a sudden, right now I've gotten Facebook off my phone again. But at the moment I had my eye on Facebook, and then all these light workers in my reality are like, oh, let's do something about this. And everything started slowing down, and like the hurricane started going from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And again, that's not being like egoic, but again, it's your ability to realize that you have an opportunity to write your own story. And even if you collectively have an agreement with the collective for the story to go down a certain way, because it's a benefit, because there's lessons, right? Like we can find in all of our darkest night of our souls, like, you know, when we've been down and out, like how much growth do we have? We actually like found ourselves in those dark nights of the soul. So like there's purpose for going deep in the dark, deep, deep down and like sorrow and pain. It's to be self-aware and realize that you're to eat it, you know, to understand it. And it may not be in the midst of it that you understand it. Maybe like after, you know, the aftermath, like, oh my God, I see, like that was actually a blessing, right? So, you know, you, coming back to what I was starting with, like, so we understand there's cycles going on when we can recognize time and cycles and history and maps, you know, and stories, like things that are held in bindings, especially, you know, like you lent me that book of the mysteries, I think it was Greek mythology. And I read what I need to, and then Spirit's like, okay, give it back to her, and then tell her to like put it away, put a white cloth around it, because we don't want to necessarily relive all of these tragedies in these stories. Mm-hmm. We can find blessing in them, and again, I can gain new pink goggles, pink rose-colored glasses, for everything that I see. I can truly find like bliss and harmony in all of it, and as a wisdom keeper, as we all are, because we've shown up together equal, we all showed up here as a divine appointment of, even if it doesn't rolls over your head today, like there's some piece of what I'm saying that will echo back to you in your future. But we're in a divine appointment, and we all arrived here as gatekeepers, wisdom keepers, to remember, like, we do have opportunity to see things new. And especially, like I was saying, the cycles. So if we catch ourselves in time, meaning time means there's a cycle to it, right? It like rotates. Time actually means rotation of spin. And so when we understand time and when we understand stillness and coming to the now, we then realize, okay, I can be witness. I can be everything. I can hold space. I can multitask. I can be witness. And then I can watch that I may need to cry with my daughter because she's crying, feeling like all her stuff just floated away, literally. You know, I'm like all like, okay, like we're off to the next wizard. You know, like I'm used to like the ascension journey of living lightly. And I always told her, like, do you really need all that stuff? You know, like, you never know, one day. Well, she got to experience her one day at 14. And so I was like, I need to drop into character. Mm-hmm. So I'm self-aware of the greater being that I am, but I had to drop into character and cry. So, and I wasn't faking it, you know, at a level I'm acting, but I knew like there's a part of me, she's me, because everybody's me pushed out. She's me, she needs to process at 14. That means me at 14 needed to process the loss and all the moves that I did, because I didn't maybe understand them the way I understand them now as a shaman. So I had to process with her and cry, and then help her process through it and find all the nuggets, you know, find all the gold, find all the gifts. And then her getting to experience the moves that we just did and the humble. Like, I'm like, isn't this humbling? Like, you know, like having to be in other people's homes. And, you know, she's the one that had like, she put all her stuff up really high so that she could get it when we came back. I literally walked out with my white purse, and Spirit had me doing like 3 light language paintings. I hadn't painted it forever. And when I got back to the house, they were all floated. Anyways, she had all her stuff like packed up high, you know, so she's going from house to house, like carrying all this stuff. And I'm like, got my little backpack, you know. So when coming back, when we catch ourselves in cycles, when we catch ourselves in time, and we know that we've left ourselves behind in a cycle of time, meaning I had at least 3 sessions of people pulling up Atlantis flood records the week prior. Mm-hmm. So I knew it was coming. I knew that our class, that we did a major jump. I don't know if you were here that day. The day where it was like packed in here, and like things were jumping. You know, like time was jumping. People couldn't find, the map wasn't pointing people to the building.
Oh, when the gardener came in.
Like I knew we were about to do something massive.
Oh, that's when I brought what's her face, and she was right down.
Yeah, she couldn't find it.
That's right, the map showed her the
the
wrong way.
flooring, right? It was like magical floor
name.
Paradise, right?
Yeah.
So I knew we were on to something, like something was just about to move. I can always tell when that's about to come. And that's what I was explaining to, I'm working with a couple goddesses right now, Crystalline Creator Program, and I remind all of us that when we get to the threshold of something massive, like a massive jump that we're about to make, things get weird. Like, they get way weird. Like, you may have people blow up in front of you emotionally. And if you're on path, meaning you're aware, you're on the ascension, you're like, you get up, you've chosen joy forever. You're like, well, I'm going to choose for joy forever. So every day I get up, I choose joy. But yet someone in front of you, like, blows up, and you're like, what? And it's, like, so weird. What is going on? Or all the other things weird happen, like that day. Like, just weird stuff happens. You know you're at the threshold of a big donut of energy. So when we as a group, a tribe called Quest, come here, and today we're 6, like sometimes we're 12, but when we are calling together, and especially to do meditations, like we're literally negentropic, calling home our light particles, and sometimes we even have a divine assignment that has us going to like sacred temples. I think one time we recently did, which was also part of this last magic act, because it's not linear. All the pieces of the puzzle show themselves to me like, whoa, wow, this is so cool what we just did, what we unearthed. But when we are pulling a large Akashic record from the field, meaning we do our homework, we're willing to go who, what, when, where, why. Like, obviously, individually, we have individual goals and intentions when we sit in these chairs or we're at home in our meditation. But like when we collectively come together, there is a divine assignment of something else we're also working on. If we're conscious of it, awesome. But if we're not, you'll become aware eventually. So that big unearthing, you will come to a big donut. And so, when your normal torus is like this, and you do a really big Akashic weave or a pull-up, meaning you spread out as far as you can. So like when we're saying like spread out to the edgeless edge, like be aware of yourself as ether, be aware of yourself as space, be aware of yourself beyond the 6-foot aura of the body, but of all that is. And your consciousness, maybe your inner child, your guardian angel, whoever it is, like takes you to a place. Like you literally are lifting up, plasma particles that are dense. And those dense light particles, as soon as you understand them, right? Like, as soon as you find out something about it, whatever your reason, like maybe you're working on manifesting a better relationship with your partner, and you go and find yourself as Cleopatra, and, you realize that you were, dealing with a lot of money issues with the collective, but also your partnership. Who knows? You find some understanding, and these particles start vibrating, and they're like, oh, good, she got the message. So they literally sometimes come out of statues. They come out of places where you left, where you discharged your energy when you were in another lifetime. But yet something about, let's say it's tax day or something, April 4th, whatever that day is. I don't participate with that. But when that starts hitting off a cycle and you're like, oh, and it takes you into Cleopatra, you gather your understanding and those light come home. So that soul essence, those charged particles come home. They literally reverse their spin from going this way to going this way. And so as a group, together, when we find greater understanding, individually and collectively, we then come up to these big, what I was trying to get at, I'll see if I could try to draw it, but just imagine this is a donut of energy.
Mm-hmm.
a big density donut starts coming in. And it's like, and that's what I was talking about, the threshold. You know you've met this dense energy that's coming home. It's literally trying to come home. It's like trying to vacuum back up your central channel to reorganize itself again. So that's a celebration moment, was I've been telling everybody this morning, is that when those moments arise, if you're human, if you get caught up in it and you're like, you get angry or something back at the mirror, the projection in front of you, fine. But I want us to start being really super conscious to, at the same time, even if you feel like that's part of your dharma, part of your mission is to get angry because you've never gotten angry, maybe. Maybe you've never spoken your mind and it was like an opportunity to say, no. You dropped into actor. You had to drop into that character because you never got to play that character yet. So along this journey, of like coming into oneness, coming back to the one, like I may need to like fully process that character because I didn't fully live it out. And this is why as you're coming into your full embodiment, you may go through several identity shifts, several different versions of identity that you've never tried on character, set for, you put on, so that you really can digest and bring back this huge donut of energy and pull it in. So let's say that was one scenario. The other scenario is you like are totally super conscious. You're a witness. You just like look at them like this. I'm usually pretty good at that. Like, oh, you're in a thing. You're processing it, and you're my projection. So I'm gonna hold space. And so I just tilt my head a lot. Oh, did you see that bird out there? I'm gonna go take a walk. I'll see you guys in a minute. And I leave. And I come back. This is a real one that happened the other day. I came back, and it was this new guy. Like, he had no idea he projected all that on. He had no idea what he just projected because he was being my character. He was being something that needed to move through my field because I had memorized a version of that character from another timeline that needed to act that way. You will not be, queen. You will not be strong. And I was like, I'm strong. I'm going for a walk. And I came back and I was still the same amazing being that I am, that we are. And that character got to shapeshift as well because that energy moved through him. And I was able to just move along with the day, not question, hey, why did you do those things? Why did you say those things? I just let it go. And in his eyes, it never even happened. So it was one of those weird moments. I knew I was at a threshold. I knew I was jumping. I knew I was jumping into this next version that keeps getting more and more clear about who I am, what I am as the divine I am. So it's about remembering your I am presence. And when we get to the eye of the projector of the I am, meaning when I'm saying you want to multitask and you want to be super conscious, let's get this being back on here. You want to make sure that you can be the eagle, You want to be the eagle eye up here at source. Mm-hmm. You want to be able to look from source seat, from source eye, and just witness. Because if it's weird, if it's not joy and grace and the worthiness that you are as the I am presence, where everything here is for you, by you, through you. This is your grand canvas to live your best experience. Every desire you have, you're meant to have because you're creating it. And anything that is not what you like, you've memorized that creation, subset, reality, and you keep projecting it on cycles because you keep celebrating your birthday and you keep celebrating Halloween and you keep celebrating all these dates that create cycles that keep you bound in that mushroom of energy down here. Because you're involved in time. So being able to maintain source seat and be at the eye of source, of the I am that I am, you know who you are. You're the conceiver of all the realities. So you know as soon as you take your focus off of Halloween And you rise it up to be a new moment that every time those people get dressed up like that in those days, they're just having a fun time celebrating their characters. So you recode things to be more in alignment with what you as the conceiver, as the God eternal I am presence, would conceive. Meaning, if there's things in your reality that you're not in alignment with, stop focusing on them. Take your eyes off of them. Stop giving them your attention, your divine currency. Your currency is your attention. Your currency is your light particles that you project out every now moment and give focus to. So I am not insensitive if I turn my eye away from certain things. If Spirit's like, nope, don't even look over there. It's not that I'm mean, that I don't care about those people. No, I can still have a divine prayer and like memorize a new version of them. As I'm looking away, I'm going to see them that they're fully taken care of. They got all the wisdom and clarity they needed from that. And then I look over and they've shifted. And they do. I watch it. It's magic. It's not really magic. But when we start to understand the way the reality has always been creating itself, it can seem magical.
Yeah.
Right? So we want to rise up these donuts. We want to process them. And then what today's class was about was, New Earth leadership. Building from the inside out. So what I love about these times when we actually rise up a large amount of currency, light particles, photonic light, from a cycle, and I'm just going to speak to Atlantean flood, when I can find my trajectory of all the things that are connected to something I just experienced, and I'm super conscious, and I was sitting up here while it's going on, I know that there is tons of currency freed up. All of this light isn't also just coming home to me, it's coming home to everybody. Right? Because literally things got, for some people, not everybody, some people's homes are high and dry, and you are part of the angelic crew that was holding peace and maybe making muffins. Maybe you were like, I'm making muffins. And you had no idea. And you still, and that's beautiful because remember, your currency is where your focus is. And your gift from your individual world to yourself is what you're focused on. And if you're a world builder, meaning that you do have this collective agreement to build out the world for not only you but many, then your focus is we're going to do our meditation today again, seeing anything that needs cleaned up, seeing money printed, seeing people getting money in their mailboxes, seeing rebuilds going on. That's already going on, but we'll just see if we can expedite anything for any people. We'll bring in anything that, feels like appropriate for who we are as individuals. So any questions or sharings?
Question.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I'm going to verbalize this right, but okay, so one of the things I had learned, if you feel icky or whatever energy or around you or your aura, you just imagine a vacuum cleaner and it's vacuuming all the dark, icky. But that's all down here. So listening to you, is it more like you bring all the icky, like you say, it's all wanting to come home. So you bring all the icky in the center, and then you vacuum clean it up, or how does?
I think however your imagination takes you on it, it's perfected. Because your intention is that it's, vacuuming up this icky energy. And what is the vacuum? It's just spiraling it. It's bringing its frequency to a higher, from a goo to a, sparkle, shine. And so that's all, this is the same thing that this is. It's all light particles just spinning at different rotations and holding different frequencies. So you're what I call the God vacuum. Since we've had this building for 9 years, I look over at the car wash and I always see the vacuum when it went on. It's like, oh, everybody, the God vacuum's going on. Everybody vacuum, your aura, what you need out. And I just actually came from the car wash, vacuuming, God vacuuming. So I would just say, whatever your imagination shows you.
So you can vacuum the aura or outside your aura. You don't have to bring it all in and then suck it all up.
Yeah. Whatever way it happens. And ultimately, that's what I mean. It's recognizing that all of this is you. So if a dense packet is coming up towards you, and that dense packet shows up in a person or a weird situation, something in the matrix is not like peace, love, dove. We're actually going to start celebrating those moments because we know that a large old shadow of an imprint reality is coming home to be digested. Now, if I engage with it, get angry at it, I was like, it's two of us. It's not me and my creation or my, it's not me and me. There's only one of us here. If I start blaming, then I'm going to further fixate that dark cloud, and it's going to actually further settle down and then relive it again the next cycle on, October 26th.
Thank you for this. Of course, it was perfectly timed. Like, I had a situation where I was same with my partner, like, whoa, what's going on? Why are you freaking out? And I should have done the head tilt instead of saying, what's going on? Why are you freaking out? Because then it's, I'm not freaking out, you're freaking out. Now I'm just confused. That was me. Now I'm just completely confused. I don't know what happened. I don't know. Sorry if I caused confusion.
Well, there was two. I mean, even there was one of you, the theory of it's only one of us here. But there's two versions of you. Mm-hmm. The old version that they're having the experience with, and the new version that's being the multitasker, super conscious awareness space being, the true you, the highest version you, is trying to drop down in even further and have you further digest all that without blame, but more understanding on your side note in your meditation pillow later, like, okay, where was the first time that ever happened? Oh, that was my parents when they used to argue about, like, my mom was, like, getting a job and, like, becoming strong on her own, so you would find that conception point to gather some understanding because it's really bizarre, You have to find your hand in the creation of it and understand why were you actually magnetizing and drawing that home. To dissolve, dismantle, release, understand. When we understand the density, it comes out of phase and comes back to those waves, and then it can be used for what we're going to project next.
So, if you're swimming around in the donut and you haven't dealt with this yet, this can cause physical things in your body.
Yes. And it can just be physical. Like, I sat with my dad yesterday, and, I had so much. Like, if you've driven by Crystal Beach, there's a lot of neighborhoods that have had this happen. And you look down, you're like, there's mountains of furniture. It's wild. Like, Spirit does not want me going over there anymore because I went over there so many times that I was, like, getting inundated with it. Like, literally, I'm, like, clearing the congestion cloud. However, I know that this is one of those donuts. So I know I'm still undoing particles. And I walked into my massage therapist a couple days ago, and, as soon as I walked in, everything went away. So, like, I know it's just an apparition at a level. All these things are. Because we are full wholeness. Now, I went back into the frequency subsets of others that I'm still working with, that are still breaking this stuff down, that are still integrating it, and it's not fully gone yet. So I'm honoring, like, okay, and it's a big jump we just did. Like, you can see it throughout the whole community. So I have patience, even though I'm in the now mode. I know there's still valuable Akasha I'm working with.
Thank you for touching on it too. That has been, it's a lot. Seeing all the devastation.
Oh, God, yeah.
And then, I don't know if there's probably something more refined than survivor's guilt.
Yeah, but we talked about last time we were here.
Feeling, I'm like, okay.
Right, so everybody's going through their own experience with it.
There's just so many different
and there's
levels
so
of
many,
ways of dealing with
there's
it.
so many beautiful clearings going on.
It is, you're right.
And it's interesting, on that note, like, I asked Spirit, like, I think a day before when Daniel started telling about the hurricane, and I normally write a book. I do some big project during these things, so I can really feel the spin, and I'm just at it, and Spirit's like, never, don't look at it. And same here, I've always stayed at every house I've ever had. And this one, though, the day before when he told me about it, Spirit said, get ready, you're going to look at this one. I'm like, why? And they said, well, Daniel needs to experience this one. He has to go through the actual flood to experience and heal and clear one of his Akashic records. Like, he has to. That's why he's always been a fanatic. He's like studying the way the wind's spinning and this one, and this is how this is going to happen. And I mean, he's got it like blueprinted out on the table, and he's like mapping it. Him and my daughter are like, okay, and they're like, and I'll just walk through like getting like a snack, and then I'll walk back to my apartment room because I have my own space. So anyways, I was fully aware, and then I'm like, really? And they're like, yeah, you're going to go through it. I'm like, all right. You know, it's not the first time that I've like more consciously just gotten rid of everything. Okay. So the other thing with that, though, is being the witness, you know, the crone, the wise woman that you are, maiden, wherever you prefer, but just, you know, and watching and witnessing like the beauty, because like I said, sometimes these dark shadows, like they need to go through, and the clean out of the debris, like Madette said, like, yeah, they're getting a big clean out, you know, where one man's trash is another man's treasure, you know, so you're watching people pick through stuff and like they're going to clean it up, and you know, they're so like all of this moving hands is happening, and what's really happening? The caravan is happening. The living lightly is happening. Even fixated houses, all of a sudden it becomes like, oh, now we're moving around. So people that were fixed now got undone from their seams on the lower 1, 2, 3 energy centers, knees, feet included. So they got undone to get where? The heart. And so if there was a lot congested there, you know, a lot still need to move there, you know, all of that's getting dealt with in a beautiful way, and in a way that, you know, are we ever harmed? No, we're eternal. It's a joke to think we're harmed. Even our most tragic experience, where you're like, no, you don't understand what I'm like, yeah, but when you pop out of your body, you're like, I mean, if you've not had that experience, when you pop out of your body, you're like, I feel great. And you look down, you're like, oh, that's interesting. So, I mean, the eternal you is just living out these experiences to live them out fully, and to remember that you're eternal, to remember that this is a dream. We are in a waking dream. We are waking ourselves up from our slumber, thinking that this stuff was all real all the time. Yes, it feels real, Ari, I'm sure, at 16. It feels very real. But when you get in control of your mind and your heart, when you tell yourself, everybody loves and adores me, I'm worth it, I can have whatever I want, all my friends are awesome, even if they're assholes, you just start programming and claiming your reality, because you are projecting the show here. Everyone is. You're not special, even though you are. We are all the chosen one, every single being. We are chosen to remember that we are to sit at the eye of God and project God I am. Like, be a master creator. Create your life. Even if you're like, no, you don't understand a lot, so like they're really mean. I promise you, you spend 7 days focusing on a bully or anyone who's not nice, and you send them love, and you see them loving, and you see them telling you that, you know what, I really like you. You want to hang out? That they will shift. The version of them that you will allow them to be will show up. Now, the version of them that you memorize again and again, but you don't understand, they're so mean. Yes, fine. Then you can keep that mean person in your life your whole life. But you've got to realize this is a dream, and that you're the dreamer, and you have to wake up and start, what do you want your dream to be like here? Start changing the things up. That's why, like, we're in it to win it right now in the Crystalline Creators and everything that I do with you guys. Like, I'm in it for you to have the most best life and possible for you, but also for everybody else. Like, how can you start going big? There should be no complaint from you. If there's a complaint, fix it. Go in and start reprogramming that stuff. And make a loop. That's the number one assignment right now for everybody. Make an audio loop on your phone that tells yourself amazing things. If there's anything you don't like in your life about your body or anything, tell that audio, I love you. I have an amazing body. I'm super flexible. I'm massively wealthy. I have the best friends. everyone in my community just found like massive joy through this hurricane. Whatever the things are. And then play it to yourself. AM, right when you're drowsy, that's what I do. PM, right when I'm drowsy. When I'm driving in the car, I put on a fun song, but then I switch it up with my audios. Start taking control of the dream, because it's so flexible and fluid. Like I said, there's so much freed up energy, not only for you, but everybody. Everybody's malleable right now. So it's so much easier to work with a bunch of lucid others than a bunch of stuffy, fixed people who are sitting on eons of stuff in their house that they've been clinging to. Right now, they've all freed up. So make best use of it. Do you have any questions, Ari? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, for the most part, yeah.
What part makes you go,
Well, I just don't understand a lot of it yet, so, like, you know, I mean, I'm trying to, like, think about everything that you're saying.
What thing makes sense? Just one thing that makes sense. Doesn't have to be complex, just something simple.
Just, like, manifesting, I guess, you know, like when you were saying, you know, everybody loves me, I'm worth it, like that definitely.
Yeah, that's for you. And we've all been there. And as soon as we watch one TV show that's got drama in it, then we start repeating that. And that's the difficult part, challenging part for me and having a teenager is watching the shows, because like you get bored. Like I just want to like sit back, have like a comfort day, watch some comfortable show. But what you're watching, if you're not super conscious, you're gonna repeat. So if you can repeat it, the drama that just programmed into you because you watched it, and then your mind memorizes it, and then gives it back to you again and again, infinitely, means forever until you change it. So if you can be a conscious and go, well, I'm also going to make sure I'm telling myself that everybody loves me and I have awesome friends, then you can multitask. But I would hope, do I say this? No. I would hope, and part of my loop is going to add in that people just get excited about being in nature and doing art and getting rid of all that. So.
Yeah. That's why most of the shows I watch are Hallmark movies.
Same.
Because
they're so
wholesome. They play a little game in the middle where they're not going to be together for 30 seconds. The outcome is always the same. Everybody wins. Everybody's in love. Everybody loves their community. Everything's just hunky-dory rosy.
There's a coffee shop and everybody has dogs.
Yeah, and so to me, if I'm feeling kind of heavy, which recently there's been a lot of that flowing down or in whatever.
Your thresholds.
Yeah, so I just turn on a Hallmark movie, and you don't have to pay close attention. It's not like you need any details, okay? It's just kind of like, oh, they meet each other. They get crosswise, they're together forever. So it's great because you don't have to use your brain very much.
Yeah.
It's all just the energy of the love that's being created in the movie between these two people, between the community, between whatever else is going on. And to me, that's my escape.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm bogged down with something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because that's what I'm trying to create in my world.
And you're creating it.
Is a loving environment for everybody. I mean, and that's one of the hang-ups I have looking at everything on the street, is my brain goes towards the businesses that go out, the people that have lost their whole income source. They now don't have a job. They now don't, you know, I mean, so. But
So we're going to work
where
on that. We're going to print money, and we're going to help them get new inspired ideas of
yeah,
what.
like I said, that's where I have to stop myself.
Yeah.
Because I
your
if
best
I let
thing
it
you
go
can
long enough, it affects me and my world because everybody else is hurting.
So it'd be a good flip the switch on that when you're driving. I'm so glad they got new ideas. I'm so glad they just got printed insurance money. I'm so glad
That's
that
what
all
I
these
did
new
in
things
the
that they're getting
pandemic.
to live their dream they never thought would be possible.
And that's what I thought in the pandemic. I mean, that's the way
all
I
these
saw
opportunities.
it. Everybody's home. I walk in the parks. Dads are out there getting to play with their kids all day long.
It's all divine. It's a divine orchestra. Even if you can go into the conspiracy of all things, it's all divine hand.
Yeah, and the conspiracy is just the way you look at it.
Yeah.
Versus
for
what
a
it
moment.
really is.
And then you flip it up higher, and you're like, oh, I can see this.
One of my, like when I would go through the dark night of the soul, I would always say, okay, I'm going to make this the best thing that ever happened to me, and I'm going to make this the best. And then you don't know at the moment, and I'd say, I don't know how, but it's.
Yes.
So later on, I look back, I'm like, wow, that was the best thing that ever happened to me. So it's kind of like what you're saying, but I mean, is it, I guess, how can I make it come from a higher still? Like, I mean, is that a high enough, or you know what I'm saying?
Get it higher. Yeah, I mean, this is the
I
best. You can. That could be a good blanket statement, umbrella of like, I'm so glad this is the best thing to happen to everybody.
Oh yeah.
So you use everybody's everywhere.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm so glad that everybody's getting to live their next leveled up, dream.
I'm
That's
so
beautiful.
glad the storm is
That's
the
good.
best thing
I'm
that ever
getting-
happened.
I saw a bunch of stuff the other day, and I thought to myself, I said it out loud to Matt, I said, look at all this stuff. I hope this shows everybody that they're still standing, and they don't need any of that shit in the first place, or it wouldn't be right there.
That, and then what's another higher level, next level?
That they get to have an adventure and start, maybe start their traveling business that they always wanted to do.
Anything.
Anything.
What an opportunity to
Yeah,
do what
start
you
fresh.
wanted to do.
How cool that they get to start fresh. That's just.
And there's no decision. It's already done.
Yeah.
There you go.
Just keep up-leveling. Get good at driving around and up-leveling beyond these experiences. Like, that's our gift, is we have the projector. When you're sitting at the eye of God, you have the projector to project upon blessings rather than curses. Because as soon as we curse them with, like, the negative thought or the negative, sadness or, like, judgment of it, that it's horrid, it's fine. You're like, there's no wrong turn in this whole experience of life, but you have an opportunity to keep learning how to be a better New Earth leader.
Yeah, and I just try not to stay there very long. It's kind of like going, okay, I see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
That's not the way my life is supposed to be.
Yes.
I don't want to live that way anymore.
And eventually,
shift the thought.
Eventually it's a shorter visit to that.
Yeah, exactly.
Until it no longer is, right? So let's go and do our meditation. Arms to your fingertips. Let your fingertips just let go of any tension. From your fingertips all the way to the top of your head, just imagine a big triangle. Let this triangle be turquoise, and just let this turquoise, sparkly triangle release any tension up the upper body, off the top of the head. The dolphins are here today, dolphin energy. They're just blessing us in the cosmic waters, making little dolphin sounds, if you can hear them. And so as we have our dolphin guides, I want you to invite your guardian angel. If you've never met your guardian angel, maybe you'll meet him or her today. Or I'll ask for any of your guides or guardians that also to be present. And in this moment now, bring your awareness to your heart. Your beautiful heart. Let yourself know, I love you. I love you. If you haven't heard it from others that much, it's because you don't tell yourself enough. You have to tell yourself these things before others know how to do that. I love you. You're perfect. I love how magical you are. I love my heart so much, because my heart has the ability to make joy and make the most magical vibrations that allow for the world out front of me really to be more malleable. All the things I've talked about today. The heart is one of the master keys. I love you, heart. I love all your abilities. And just realize your heart muscle, I'm talking about the heart energy center in the middle, your sternum, but the heart muscle that sits behind it and a little bit over to the left for some people. The newer children are having it births in the middle. But this heart muscle, just really bathe your heart muscle with that turquoise light from the pyramid. Bathe the heart muscle so it can be softer. It moves in a toroidal fashion, that spiral. Let your heart know that anything it wants to revise, it can revise now. I want you to revise something in your life that you know that needs revision. Like it's maybe a person hasn't been nice to you, or you just something that you know that the heart would like for you to see it new, redo it in an upgraded vision. If you don't know, ask the heart, what do you want to revise? Maybe it wants more love. Maybe it wants to experience the love from others, a specific person, from many. Whatever that is, I want you to imagine a short scene of an upgrade, of something that you would like to happen or the heart would like to happen differently. And then visualize it again. And smile as you visualize this several times. Even if you're telling yourself, oh, how could this work? I'm making this up. Yes, you're making it up. We're memorizing a new makeup, a new vision that will happen at the right time. And visualize it again. And because you have lots of things that want revising, some of you, it's okay if others start popping in and you're seeing other scenes. But just do it a couple more times. Short little scenes again and again. Even things that seem impossible become possible. Good. And then just let that be enveloped with pink cosmic love light and just let it float away. Bless it. Give it blessings as it floats away. And we're going to rise high in the channel, and we're going to take a view of our community, things we've talked about today for us personally who live here, and for Ari who lives at a distance in your community. I want you to imagine something in your community that you could revise. Whether it's something of the past or maybe something going on right now that you want to bless them with, like cleanup of the mountains of furniture, or seeing them get a new business idea and have it fully funded, or getting a new home. You could do several revisions on this. So just, I want you to play for a moment and see how many blessings you can visualize. Like you're flying over like an eagle. See how many things you can see new. it's a lot of people having blessings, you might see them as orbs of light glowing, and that represents X, Y, and Z. Remember to smile and just sparkle it with fairy dust, sparkling light, the gifts that you have the ability to give always, but especially when we gather together. We have such power to gift with positive thoughts and positive visions. Remember the ability of your breath. The more you breathe, the deeper you breathe. You're bringing oxygen to the brain, you're bringing a lot more light into the circuitry that you're visualizing. And on an outward ability, that sacred breath, imagine you're breathing these gifts to them. And it could be a big umbrella gift, like everyone's having the most amazing upgrades. It's so miraculous how left and right I keep hearing these amazing experiences people are having. And as those blessings are being gifted, if some of the blessings that you're noticing for others that you want to gift yourself, of course, fill your cup up. And be in gratitude that now this has happened for you too. And bring your vision from eagle over big community to your personal life. Embellish your life a little more. Live your best life. Even if you'll be surprised of the things that you're gifting yourself, I want you just to imagine, what does your higher self, sometimes it's your inner child is ready to play right now, but what do you really want to be gifted with? Experiences, things, more affluent, more wealth, so that you can help more, do more abilities, maybe all of it. As the I am that I am, it's typically all of it. Good. And then come back deep into your channel. Start coming back into your heart and ask your heart if everything is complete or if there's anything else. If it says no, just say, ask more questions. What else do you need? If it's holding any old guilt or remorse or sadness, just use your light, use the God vacuum. Use your magical abilities to visualize whatever the heart is requesting, that you use your light and your color, your breath, your sparkles. Gift the heart all that it's asking. Wash away anything no longer needed. Good. And then let the heart know again that I love you. You're safe, you're loved, you're adored. Everyone loves you. Everyone respects you. Everyone cares about your well-being. You love everyone. You respect everyone. You respect everyone's most high, radiant, eternal soul. And you're so grateful that you get to play with other eternal souls. And then fill your aura with the colored light that feels most yummy. See all your energy centers balanced. They're glowing feet, glowing knees, glowing tailbone, glowing navel, glowing solar plexus, glowing heart, glowing throat, glowing orb of light, center of the head, glowing top of the head. You amazing light being, you. Balanced in every way, organized in new ways. And then smile and begin to call yourself back completely. Stretch your body, wiggle your toes, however you feel guided. And then we'll bring our chairs up.